0% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Heading up north this summer for some golf? Be sure to book a tee time at the Ball Golf Course, an Arnold Palmer masterpiece just north of Milwaukee on the way to Kohler. It's the best destination for your next Wisconsin round of golf. Enjoy golf. Enjoy the Bog.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people with different political views and life experiences are coming together through the power of conversation, and it feels good. Hear more at lovehasnolabels.com/one-small-step. A message from StoryCorps Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
This is Ben Brust. Hear me every day on KBN from 2 to 5. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
There's Love. Taps it a couple times. Going end zone. Caught! Dobbs! Touchdown, Green Bay.
And it's the day after.
Field stands in. Delivered. Intercepted. Quay Walker's got it. Looking for the end zone. Quay Walker is in. Touchdown.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
Like you said, all offseason, I think our team's been slept on. We can't do anything about it until we go out there and prove it. I think we did that today.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
Hello, good Monday. One and all, Greg Matzik and Gary Ellison. We are back. We are back talking football. We are back talking football on a Monday night. Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday here from the beautiful Rockin' Brews location inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino. What a gorgeous place. Great setup. Monday Night Football will be on a little bit later here tonight if you are coming down. If you've not seen the Rockin' Brews location, this is a must-stop if you are coming down to Potawatomi Hotel Casino. What a great place to talk a little Packers football as well, which we will do here over the next 2 hours. We go to 8 o'clock tonight. Myself, Gary Ellerson, and you, we'd love to have you join the conversation talking about a resounding win for the Green Bay Packers. Impressive win for the Packers, Gary, 38-20 the final. I know it's the Bears. The Bears aren't a very good football team. I get that, but this was not a 17-16 squeaker. This was not a loss like we've seen the last 2 years to open the season. This was a shorthanded, young team led by a first-year starting quarterback. All sorts of new faces, and they obliterate their opponent. Man, you can't ask for a better start.
Well, it's the National Football League, and it's on the road. Those games are very difficult to win on the road. No matter what they say, well, there's not a record this particular time, but no matter what the record is. And it's a rivalry game on top of that. And it's a team in the Chicago Bears where they thought finally they could turn the tables on the Green Bay Packers. And I will say this. Impressive win. And more than anything else, listen, I don't know what Jordan Love is going to be. I mean, the jury's still out. If he's Favre, if he's Rodgers, we're just going to let Love be Love. But I think more importantly, Greg, let's just go back to the beginning. Because there are some media types that were very upset that Mark Murphy made the hire of Matt LaFleur. Why is he making the hire? Why is he going out doing it? Why is he standing out front? He's grandstanding. And a lot of people was upset with Mark because he said, yeah, I made the hire, I did that. I was okay with it because I think Mark Murphy is a football guy. Some people forget that he played in the NFL. Some people forget that, he was a really good football player in his day. And then, obviously, did some other things in the NFL and smart on top of that. And then you go to Matt LaFleur in that when he hired Matt LaFleur, Mark Murphy also had the vision to say, okay, we need to get Aaron Rodgers back on track. And that happened with Matt LaFleur. They won 13 games this year. It wasn't a great Aaron Rodgers. If you remember that, Greg, I mean, that wasn't a great year that he had that first year. And then you fast forward to Brian Gutekunst, who was getting a lot of flack, I would say, about the draft picks that he was making. Something caught me. I went to the Packer Hall of Fame dinner, and where they inducted Jordy Nelson and Josh Sitton. And as I was sitting there watching the induction, Jordy Nelson and Josh Sitton gave Brian Gutekunst all the credit in the world for finding them and bringing them to Green Bay amongst other people. And that the kind of scout that he was, and that this organization couldn't be what it is right now without Brian Gutekunst. A lot of other people don't see that or know that unless they hear it from the players. So I thought that Brian got not the credit that he deserved, but I think more so slighted because we were making this move from Aaron Rodgers. To me, it's not about me. It's really about the G. At some point, the Packers had to move on for Aaron Rodgers and make that move. And I think you've got to go back and let's start with Mark Murphy, let's go with Brian Gutekunst, and then let's go with then Matt LaFleur with the game plan that they came up with to go in at Soldier Field on the road to beat. Now, I don't know what were the odds on that.
I looked at some of the lines, and here we are right outside a beautiful casino, and we could have done the sports kiosks, the little betting stations outside. Man, you could have a lot of fun with that. One of the last lines I saw was Bears by 1. Now, keep in mind, the Bears are a pretty healthy team going into yesterday. Christian Watson, who I think is the most indispensable player on the Packers roster, certainly on offense. All right, a little bit in question. Man, you got 13 rookies. You've got the youngest team in the league. You're on the road, starting quarterback that nobody's really ever seen before. So the Bears, the last line that I saw, they were favored by 1.
So which is really a win for the Packers, obviously, just on the road here. I mean, I'm not a gambling guy, but that's
they usually say you're good for 3 if you're the home team, right?
There you go. That's what they tell me. But I think when most people saw that, and rightly so, you've got a brand new quarterback who nobody's seen. You got Justin Fields, who's played a lot of football in the NFL. And they went out this year, the Bears did and made some moves. And they thought they were, going to be, or most certainly win this game. They didn't show up. And if you look at the Chicago Bears, they talked about that they didn't show up. How do you not be ready for game 1 at Soldier Field, at your home place, when you got an opportunity to get Jordan Love, first year starting as a quarterback, and then you look at 30, 40 years where the Packers just kicked your tail, and now's the time for you to go play. I don't think it really had anything to do with them not being ready. The Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur and Jordan Love, the coaching staff, if you go Joe Barry, I hadn't even talked about him, we'll get into all that later. I thought that they had their guys ready to play and dialed in to the game plan. Not only that, Greg, do you feel something bigger than just the Green Bay Packers and this football team as you've been around them for this year? Because there's one constant thing that keeps coming out that I don't think I've heard a lot about a lot of different individuals in this locker room about this team.
I think you bring up an interesting point. When I watched the Packers get their butts kicked the last 2 years on opening day against the Saints, remember that game was moved to Jacksonville because of a hurricane, tropical storm, right? And the Packers get annihilated. They don't even show up. They treated the preseason like a joke, and the joke was on them.
Yes.
The same thing happened last year against the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
Man, you can't afford to cough up division games. Right. And the Packers laid an egg. They were not prepared for that game. So the preseason was treated differently, and it deserved to be treated differently because of the amount of youth on the team and the quarterback situation. So Matt LaFleur committed to a different preseason. But you know what all these players heard over the last several months? This team isn't going to be nothing. There's no Aaron Rodgers. Where's the veteran leadership? So what I saw yesterday, Gary, was a team that played with an edge, a team that felt like, hey, we're all in this together.
Yes.
It's not the quarterback doing separate things with his buddies. It's not Aaron and Randall and Mercedes Lewis off in one corner and the rest of us young guys in another corner. It's not Aaron Rodgers at a soccer match with all his best buddies in a luxury box, and all the rookies are doing their own thing in a separate room. Not touching Aaron Rodgers, right? Romeo and Aaron, they didn't talk together during last year. Romeo talked about that. This team, in 1 week's time and throughout the course of training camp, talking to others who are up there every day, Wildy's one of those guys. We'll talk to him. Mm-hmm. It's more together of a unit, in my opinion, looking at this team. They're kind of bonding together around the national criticism that they can't get it done without their 4-time MVP quarterback.
You're good.
That's what I saw.
And that's what I'm looking for. You're exactly right. And that was the buzz this whole offseason. That's what was surrounding this team the whole offseason. And it felt like that they all came together and recognized that. And not only that, I think they felt a huge bond toward Jordan Love, and that they knew that they all had to play their best in order to get a win for Jordan Love. That whole thing with Jordan Love getting the ball at the end of the game is absolutely incredible. I mean, they showed some shots inside the locker room of that when he presented the game ball to Jordan Love, and everybody in that locker room was happy for him. Not necessarily for him, I guess, but happy for them and the team and what they were able to do. You're right. All these guys in the locker room had something to prove that they can win without 12.
That was a team win in every sense yesterday. The Packers controlled the line of scrimmage. Special teams was on point. The offense delivered when it counted most. I do want to spend some time diving into the day of Jordan Love.
Sure.
Right? So I want to know from your history as a running back, as an offense, playing with a new quarterback, what it's like. Chips are stacked against you. I want to detail his day because I think the good far outweighed the bad. And even when it looked like things were about to unravel, he found a way, being a composed individual, to step forward and make a play. And he was not hurried. The Packers' offensive line did their thing. I want to go back to another point that Tauscher made earlier this morning. If you follow Mark Tauscher on Twitter, you know this. He doesn't tweet often, but when he tweets, they're kind of thought-provoking.
Yeah.
Right? So he sends out a note after yesterday's game saying, Sunday's game was the most meaningful in the LaFleur-Gutekunst era. Do you subscribe to that? I'm curious to know your thoughts, Gary. Also our fans' thoughts at 800-990-3776. Do you go away from last night's game thinking to yourself, that was the most significant win in Matt LaFleur's tenure as head coach and Brian Gutekunst's tenure as GM? Maybe not the biggest, maybe not the most impressive. This was week one, not a playoff game, but significant. 800-990-3776 if you'd like to weigh in. What was your feeling after watching that yesterday?
You want me to answer the Tauscher question?
Yeah. Did that feel more significant than any other win Matt LaFleur's had?
Yes, it was, by far, because it was a changing of the guard, so to speak. It was because if Matt LaFleur, becomes coach of the year, he becomes coach of the year because it's his offense. I thought he should have got coach of the year at least a couple times with Aaron Rodgers, but he never got the credit because you had Aaron Rodgers. I think now you see Matt LaFleur's offense. What you saw a lot of motion, right? You didn't see, you saw misdirection, which they didn't do a whole heck of a lot. They tried to the first year of Rodgers, and Rodgers didn't like the motion, so they had to cut that out. You saw specific game plans. I can give you three for sure, big plays. The throwback screen to Aaron Jones, they knew it was going to work. They game planned that. He knew that was going to be a home run. So they schemed that. The leak play to Musgrave that he fell down and then the ball got fumbled, it was so wide open that it could have, it had to have happened the way it happened. That's how wide open that play was. They knew it was going to happen. They schemed that. The touchdown to Aaron Jones out of the backfield, I'm going to get Aaron Jones matched up on the linebacker. They're not going to put a DB on him. Now, for the rest of the year, when they get in that formation on obvious passing situation, you're going to see a DB on Aaron Jones out of the backfield. No one's going to match him up with a linebacker ever again. But they knew that the Bears are going to put a linebacker on him and that they can get that play. Those three plays, to me, stand out in that how he schemed to get guys open within their offense. You didn't see a whole lot of, I like this matchup over here with Devontae Adams, and I know Devontae can beat this guy, so I'm just going to go to Devontae, and I'm going to just not look at anybody else. The touchdown pass that Jordan Love threw to Romeo Doubs looks like to me it was almost a third option.
Which one?
Right, no. The one is on the right-hand side, not the jump off, but the one where he had to go through his progression. I mean, it looks like to me that was almost his third option. I don't know if it was or not, but it took a long time for it to come. Didn't stare him down and made a play. Those are the things that you're seeing or that I saw in one game that was different under what they did last year. So, yes, it was a big game for them.
It was significant, right?
Yes.
Because you talked about changing of the guard, cards stacked against you, people all aboard the Lions train, credit where credit is due, getting a win on the road in Kansas City. But just sort of saying, the Packers are just going to be kind of okay. And somehow, some way, momentum has started to build for them a little bit during the preseason, but not to the point where I feel like anybody thinks they're going to run away with anything. No. And look, this is one game, right? The Packers punched first. The league has a way of counter-punching. You know that better than anybody, Gary. So just when you think you've got everything figured out, teams start to figure you out, and you've got to be able to throw that counter-punch back. So I want to detail some of the best elements of what we saw to Jordan Love in the offense yesterday, some things that definitely need cleaning up. Coaches will always say it, but there are some specific things I want to get to. And I want to hear from you as well here, 800-990-3776. This is the inaugural Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday from Rockin' Brews inside Potawatomi. Game will be on tonight. We're going to have some wings popping up in here. We've got our own Potawatomi Pilsner, courtesy of our friends Dom and others here at Potawatomi hanging out with us tonight until 8 o'clock. We're just getting started, my friend.
Can't wait, buddy.
And always good to be talking on a Victory Monday here.
Yes,
more after this on ESPN Milwaukee.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat with Freddie Coleman.
Oh, yeah. NFL season starting tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs, we know how good they are, taking on the Detroit Lions, who want to tell everybody how good they think they can be. And, yeah, you got two compromising situations with Kansas City. The injury when it comes to Travis Kelce and their outstanding defensive tackle, Chris Jones, is not going to be available. We may not see him until week 8. But there's a certain guy called Patrick Mahomes. Oh, yes, I still believe he plays in the National Football League. A certain Patrick Mahomes that has never lost an opening day game since becoming a starting quarterback in Kansas City. I don't worry about what I'm going to see from Kansas City. Whether Travis Kelce, who knows what he's going to do if he's out there or not, or when it comes to Chris Jones, who's not going to be out there. As long as you have number 15 in red, that's to scare everybody, not just tonight versus the Detroit Lions, but for everybody else in the AFC. He's the biggest, baddest thing going. He knows it, you know it, and he knows that you know, which makes him a very compelling story once again in the NFL. In 60 seconds, a Deion letdown?
NFL opening night is coming, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is hooking new customers up with a can't-miss offer. Place your first $5 NFL bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, all customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. New customers, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code OUTCOME to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. That's code OUTCOME, only on DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. See dkng.co/football for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply.
Man, how good has it been for Colorado football ever since Deion Sanders, a.k.a. known as Coach Prime Time. They pulled that upset at number 17 TCU, and everybody who is somebody has had something to say about how he was able to do that and have it work in week 1. Over 80 different players, only 3 players from last year's football team, and now Colorado's ranked number 22 in the country, about to play Nebraska, a game that Deion Sanders says is very, very personal to him. I hate to be that guy, but I'm going to be that honest guy. This is all the makings of a letdown. It has all the makings of Lee Corso from College Game Day has always said is a trap game, especially when so much hype has been there. And a team that used to get that hype a long time ago, Nebraska, is not getting any attention and not getting any love. And they're 0-1 coming into this game. All the pressure is on Colorado. Nobody thought we would say that early. This has all the makings of, I hope, what's not going to be the case, a Deion letdown. For ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Freddie Coleman.
Here in Wisconsin, one name is synonymous with fantastic frozen pizza, Palermo's. For almost 60 years, Palermo's has focused on feeding Wisconsin families. And though Palermo's has grown a lot since 1964, they're still family-owned. They're still proud to call Milwaukee home. And they're still committed to making the best frozen pizza possible. From their new and improved rising crust pizzas to their guilt-free Primo thin pies, Palermo's has a delicious slice for every appetite. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer food aisle. Palermo's, flavor is our family's business.
I asked what kind of family she wanted. She said, a family like yours.
Learn more about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
A new sound for ESPN Milwaukee in the afternoons. Every weekday from 2 to 5, it's the trio of Kyle Wallace, Ben Brust, and Brad Northman. And tune into the Homer Hour during your drive home from 5 to 6. The new 94.5 ESPN Afternoons debut on September 11th.
Love looking to throw a fade far side. It is caught for the touchdown. Romeo Dobbs, number 2.
Hey, folks, I want to tell you about my good friends over at Best Electric Service. They're a family-owned and operated company that has been in business for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, from residential to commercial projects and even electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality at fair prices. Connect with the best and visit bestelect.com.
Nothing too big for Jordan Love yesterday. 245 yards passing, 3 touchdowns in the Packers' 38-20 win over the Chicago Bears. Welcome back in. It is a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg Matzek and Gary Ellerson with you all season long from Rockin' Brews inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino. What a gorgeous place. They're going to have the game up on in here. We've got table games and slot machines. This is all brand new, no smoking, incredible bar. We got up on a nice stage here overlooking the crowd. It'll be a nice night settling in for Jets and Bills.
No, it really is. And you come in right off the deck here, Greg, when you walk in. It's right here on the 4th floor, and just walk right into your left. Easy in, easy out, which I like. And, right, if you like to gamble, you like to put a little money down or do something here with these slots. It's absolutely incredible. You're right. No smoking for me is the key.
That's a big-time thing. We will be doing this all Monday during the course of the season here on ESPN Wisconsin stations and at times on 620 WTMJ. So I want to dive into the night for Jordan Love, for the day. So you want to talk about a great script for your first start. How about getting a short field and starting on the 40-yard line? That's exactly what the Packers defense allowed Jordan Love and the offense to do. Bears went for it on 3rd and 1. They tried to sneak Justin Fields on their first possession. They didn't get it. They didn't get it on 4th and 1 either. So there you go. Primetime field position for the Packers. But they still had to do something with it. And it was a lot of Aaron Jones. It was not a lot of Jordan Love on that first drive. But still, Gary, 11 plays, 40 yards, 5 minutes. And it was clean as could be. No penalties, no sacks, no fumbling of the football. They took care of the ball. If you're a quarterback looking for a quick start to your season, man, you can't ask for a better situation than that. And they cashed in.
Couldn't have been any better. The start, the field position. Couldn't have been any better. At least they were going to get 3 out of that, you thought. I talked to Preston Smith earlier this year doing training camp. And he said to me point blank, and I golfed with Preston Smith, too, at the Lombardi Golf Classic, too, here in Menominee Falls. And he kept saying, we need to play better defensively. We can't have Jordan Love do everything. We need to do our part. We got to play better than what we did last year. He goes, and I think we can. I think our defense can get to the next level of defense. And when I'm saying next level of defense, I'm thinking he believes that they can be a top 5 defense. Now, they got a lot of things to show up and clean up over there, but you're right. That drive or that game got started by a defensive stop by that defense. And there's a lot to go around. Joe Barry, I mean, a lot of young guys played very well in that game for the defense to have the success that they had.
So here's one thing that really stands out to me about Jordan Love, right? We always talked about him being pretty cool under pressure. He seems poised in his limited opportunities in the regular season and preseason. He doesn't strike me as the kind of player who's going to get rattled very often. Mm-hmm. But we've only seen it a few times during the regular season and a few times in the preseason. Not week 1, game of the week on Fox, all eyes of the nation watching, your first real, true, meaningful start in what is to be your team. And Gary, what I think is a true testament to Jordan Love is that he looked the same on 1st and 10 as he did 3rd and 8 and 4th and 3. And when he fumbled the snap, sort of botched things, and hit Luke Musgrave deep as he backpedaled toward the red zone and inside the 5-yard line. Like, that dude just doesn't look any different to me when he's behind center. Like, he is poised, regardless of the down or situation, and I think that translates into his numbers. So here's the numbers for Jordan Love. What did he do to the Bears on 3rd and 4th down yesterday? 3rd and 4th down. Money down in the NFL, right? 8 of 10, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating on 3rd and 4th down. In your first start on the road without one of your most dynamic playmakers. That's as good a sign as anything you saw from Jordan Love yesterday.
What you're taught right away, Greg, make the plays you're supposed to make. Play winning football. In essence, make the layup if you're a basketball guy. Make the layup. Don't miss the layup. Get the ball out of your hands quick. That guy's open. Don't try to create the magic. Let the magic happen. And I think that's what you saw out of Jordan Love. You talk about being poised. I don't know if you can go back to your memory bank in the Kansas City game. He didn't get rattled in that Kansas City game a couple years ago. I mean, he played still within himself. You may not have liked the game plan or the outcome of what it was, but he still showed what we saw in this game out of him. I don't think anything can really get underneath this guy's skin. I mean, I think this is just his makeup. This is what he is. I don't know if that's going to make him a Hall of Famer or anything like that, but this is just his makeup, and this is who he is.
Okay, so this is not 2008, right? I think this is worth reminding our fans and listeners that when Aaron Rodgers took over, and I'm not going to do this all season where I compare, well, Love did this and Rodgers did this.
Well, it's going to happen.
But it is worth noting that Rodgers did have Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings, right, and Donald Driver. Like, they were loaded. They were stacked up. And Jordy was a rookie back then, but nonetheless. So he wasn't Jordy Nelson, the Packers Hall of Famer. But Donald Driver was. He was established. Greg Jennings was a Pro Bowl caliber receiver at that point. So the situation that Jordan Love inherits here is that with 2 second-year wide receivers, one who was out, a second who was on a pitch count, a rookie in Jalen Reed. We'll talk about him because he shined in his limited opportunity in kind of a reminded of Randall Cobb and Randall Cobb's first opportunity against the Saints way back when. A rookie tight end, a second drafted rookie tight end who was not even the second tight end on the depth chart, and then you've got your proven running backs behind a pretty good offensive line, a very good offensive line.
Yeah.
So the weapons are different. It's not like he's got all pros to throw to, but he did have time to throw. He was only pressured a couple of times. Meanwhile, Justin Fields was running for his life. Right. The most pressured quarterback in the NFL yesterday was Justin Fields. The least pressured quarterback in the NFL yesterday was Jordan Love.
Right. I think what you see out of that, Greg, is that I'm going back to Matt LaFleur once again. It was a game plan. This is what you're going to get defensively, and this is a look. You're right. As of yet, there's no Jordy Nelsons, right? There's no Donald Drivers on this team yet. I mean, I don't know. But you're right. That receiving core that Aaron Rodgers had, they were stacked. Nothing like what you got now. So going back to Matt LaFleur, he knew the weapons that he had. Make the layups. Here's the guys that are going to be open. Go through your progression. He was coached up well. And let's give some credit to probably Aaron Rodgers. Because in some ways, when you watch certain guys that you know you're going to take their place, you learn what to do and what not to do. In Aaron Rodgers' case, he learned not to throw interceptions, right? In Jordan Love's case, it may be take what the defense gives me and trust in the offense that Matt LaFleur has set forth. I don't need to be the hero in this offense. I don't need to really be making these huge, big plays. Let the game come to me, go through my progressions, go through my read, and trust in the work that they put in and the scheme that's in place for them.
Things started going well with the Packers offense when they featured Aaron Jones a little bit. We saw the early touchdown. They got away from Jones. They had Dillon have a couple of series there, and they went 3 and out on back-to-back series. They went backwards, as a matter of fact, in a couple of those. They started to get a little more rhythm to the offense, but it really wasn't until the start of the second half that they started to get back to the Aaron Jones thing. So you talking about your first drive of the season, results in a touchdown. Aaron Jones has 5 touches in those 11 plays. The first drive of the second half, remember they scored a field goal at the end of the first half. Anders Carlson with a 52-yarder that would have been good for 90. He just hammered that thing home. First drive of the second half, they double up. They score a touchdown with Aaron Jones getting a touchdown, and he had 4 touches out of the 6 plays that resulted in a touchdown. So they were without a big dynamic playmaker in Christian Watson, but Aaron Jones still a good dynamic playmaker, and he seemed to be the guy that so much attention was put on that it wasn't all about what Jordan Love was going to do. It wasn't all about disrupting Jordan Love. The Bears couldn't stop Aaron Jones, and by extension, Jordan Love was really able to capitalize, especially in that second half.
So let me just get to this real quick, too, about Aaron Jones. And, Greg, we have known this since Aaron Jones been with the Green Bay Packers. He's on the pitch count and always has been on the pitch count. The Packers are afraid that he is going to get hurt and that he cannot take the pounding. As a former running back, he is slight of build. There's really only so many touches that he has in him. And I thought maybe the pitch count has always been up to maybe 21, 22 touches per game. So that's receiving or rushing. And if they can save him, they will. Their main focus is to get Aaron Jones to the playoffs because they know they're going to need him. So when I saw A.J. Dillon come in, although, it disrupted the offense a little bit, A.J. Dillon will probably be the first to tell you that he didn't play as well as he thought he could have played. And that did slow the offense down a little bit. But the reason why this is always the case and why it's always been is that they are trying to limit the amount of touches that Aaron Jones get in a game. And this has always been. It was all over Twitter. It was all everywhere. Because he just can't physically take that kind of pounding, let's say, like A.J. Dillon. Would you like to have him in the game more? Yeah, you can. But at what expense do you have him in the game? And that's why you see him tweak the hamstring. And they're conscious and aware that he also will have strains and sprains as well, too.
So 11 touches for Aaron Jones yesterday. If he doesn't hurt the hamstring, that's probably 15 or more. And you could argue maybe should have had more in the first half. I would support that argument.
Yes.
But you're right. To me, this is not a 1-in-1A situation.
Right.
Aaron Jones, a clear lead back.
He is.
He's just going to be used differently than A.J. Dillon. And they'll need him. They'll need them both.
Right.
No doubt about that. And really, now we focus on Aaron Jones' hamstring. We'll get an update from Jason Wilde coming up on the other side as we continue here. It is a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday from Rockin' Brews at Potawatomi Hotel.
We'll talk about my good friends over at the Jury Center. ShopTJC.com is their website where you can go find it. They got 3 locations: Brookfield, Greenfield, and Burlington, Wisconsin. Guys, go check my good friends out today at the Jury Center. Ask for the owner, Dean Murray. If you go in there and tell them that Gary Ellerson or Greg Matzik sent you, you're going to get a sizable discount on anything that you want in that store. Guys, just don't take my word for it. Go check them out today. That is the Jury Center.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to High Wattage Play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. That's right, folks. Great Lakes Dragway's 2023 race season is in full swing. Come out to see our annual events like Memorial Day Weekend, Labor Day Weekend, Nitro Streetcar Brawl, Import Wars, Larry's Fun Fest, and Bug Fest. Looking for something new and exciting? Come see the Night of Fire Jet Show. Want the track all to yourself? Email or call about a private track rental. Go to GreatLakesDragaway.com for contact information and our full season schedule. Great Lakes Dragaway, just a burnout west of I-94 on County KR. Be there.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Pick up Bud Light at your local convenience store today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
A bank that goes the extra yard? You got it. Show your love for the green and gold with Packers checking only from Associated Bank. Make every transaction a touchdown with your Packers debit MasterCard. And when you use it at the Packers Pro Shop, at the stadium, or online, you'll get 10% off. Associated Bank's Packers checking scores the home field advantage by delivering Midwest-based customer care, outstanding value, and more. Get in the game and learn more today at associatedbank.com/Packers. Member FDIC.
Ewald Automotive is extending Labor Day savings to bring you employee pricing all month long. Save big and pay like you're part of the team. Ewald can't be beat on price, guaranteed. We're passing huge Ewald employee savings on over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles. Go long with Ewald's exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. You've worked hard this season. Get the savings you deserve today.
Go to EwaldAuto.com.
Cousin Subs just got better. With our newest mobile app update, we've made it easier to purchase your favorite subs and sides with Apple or Google Pay and the ability to make split payments. And that's not all. Can we get your digits? Sign up today for our new text messaging program to unlock exclusive coupons and offers at cousinsubs.com or via our app. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
Bikers need protection, not just from other drivers, but unfortunately from insurance companies too. If you've been injured in a motorcycle crash, call Gruber Law Offices today. Bikers are often blamed for causing the accident because the insurance companies simply don't want to pay. At Gruber Law Offices, we've been fighting for injured bikers and their families for more than 30 years. Trust us to fight for what you deserve. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Catholic Memorial plays on 94.5 ESPN.
And that's going to free him. He's going to go into the end zone for a touchdown. Nick Losi.
On Friday night, the Crusaders hit the road to take on the Wauwatosa East Red Raiders. Gabe Neitzel and Mike Padole have coverage right here on 94.5 ESPN starting at 6:30 Friday. Catholic Memorial Football on 94.5 ESPN is brought to you by the Bray Team at Shore West, Gerald Nell Inc., Windancer Balloon Promotions, Mid-City Sports, Suburban Asphalt, Perspire Sauna Studio, Edge Leadership, and Urchel Real Estate Group. You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
There is going to be a crowd here. Already some football fans settling in for Monday Night Football tonight, Gary. So I don't know if you heard, but the Jets and Bills will play each other tonight to clean up week one of the NFL season. It's an underreported story, but I know you've been following it.
Well, hasn't everybody in Wisconsin been following it? And I think a lot of people, though, too. There has been some Aaron Rodgers fatigue, rightly so. And I think there are a lot of people who are willing to move on from Aaron Rodgers and don't want to speak or talk about it and will give you crap if you bring up his name. But I really don't see it that way. The way I see it is it is a story, and it is our story to report the story. It's going to be a national story all year long. That is why the NFL said, yeah, you guys are doing Hard Knocks. You're in the biggest market in the NFL. You're doing Hard Knocks, and that's why they did it. So it is the story.
It's kind of a crazy weather situation, too. A couple of hours ago, they had a shelter-in-place warning at MetLife Field. So no players, no personnel, nobody being allowed inside the bowl or on the stadium. So that was a couple of hours ago. There's no indication that the game will not start on time, but weather could be an issue tonight. as the Bills and Jets kick things off. I remember when the Bills and Jets played on a Monday night. This is back when the color rush jerseys were a thing. Yeah. Do you remember this? So the Bills were out there, and they were dressed in all red. The Jets were out there. They were dressed in all green. Yeah. They looked like bottles of NyQuil running around on the field.
Yeah, I thought they looked like lifesavers.
Lifesavers? Okay, I'll go NyQuil. You go lifesavers. And then eventually, and this is honest truth, those who are colorblind started calling the cable companies and saying, look, I don't know what team is what here. So they went back to now one of those teams is going to be wearing all white. The other team will have a colored jersey on. So there's a little history on the color rush for you that you didn't need to know or want to know.
Rightly so.
Packers with a thrilling Week 1 win over the Bears, 38-20, the final. How did it all go down? What were the most impressive aspects of the game that maybe nobody's talking about today? For that and more, we welcome in Jason Wilde, 9 to noon, host of Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin. Hello, Jason.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Doing great. So, we've talked about this. I know you've talked a lot about this today, about Jordan Love's performance. I do think it's important to start there, Jason, because that was really the headline going into the game. How would he fare in his first start on the road, hostile environment? Describe what you saw, and if you were perhaps more impressed or you kind of thought this is what you'd get out of Jordan Love in week number 1.
No, I was definitely more impressed. I did not think he would play poorly, but I didn't think he'd play quite as well as he did. And, whether that's a function of the Bears being worse than I thought they were or Jordan just being further along than I thought he was, I knew he'd had a good camp. I knew I was encouraged by what I had seen. But, the easy thing to say is, oh, yeah, I saw this coming. I'm going to be honest. I did not expect him to throw for 3 touchdowns, 245 yards, not throw a pick, and really not put a ball in harm's way. I thought it was a really good night by the head coach and the play caller. I thought Matt LaFleur had a good night or good afternoon to put him in good spots to not have a lot of dangerous throws, and I thought he executed extremely well. I think if you're a Packers fan, I still would, if I were you, temper my enthusiasm slightly, but I think you should revel in this. He was terrific, and you should be really happy about how good he was.
I would agree with you, Jason, in that also you've been in the locker room, you've been up at training camp all year, and you've seen the transformation from Rodgers now to Love. But I just felt like there was a different feel, though, to that locker room when Aaron Rodgers left. And it felt like this is more of a team. It felt like this team were rallying around Jordan Love more so than anything else.
Yeah, I think that happened, too, back in 2008. I just think that there's something about a roster that has a lot of young guys on it that connect better with the younger, unproven quarterback, the guy that they think is going to be good, but they don't know if he's going to be good, because there were certainly Favre loyalists in 2008 that were skeptical of Rodgers, and Rodgers won him over with how he was, how he played, and I think Jordan has done a lot of the same things. I mean, look, if we're being honest, David Bakhtiari was probably the biggest skeptic, right? I mean, the way he talked about Love, the way he said things like, well, they want to rebuild and everything else. He was not exactly all in. And yet I think Jordan has won him over and really impressed him with the way he has played and the way he has carried himself. But there's no doubt that this very young group, 13 rookies started or saw action yesterday. 13. That tells me that there's a lot of guys that are going to connect with the 24-year-old quarterback better than they connected with the 39-year-old quarterback. And both of those quarterbacks can be successful, and both of those teams can win, but their rosters are made up differently, and it's incumbent on that quarterback, if he's 39 and playing for the New York Jets, to do a better job than he did last year with his old team of being connected to the younger players. And if he's 24 years old and finally getting to start after a 3-year apprenticeship, and he has to connect with both veteran players and young players, he's got to do that. And I think Jordan Love, I mean, the moment that I thought crystallized tonight, and I thought it was really cool that we were able to hear it through the cinder block walls of Soldier Field, was when they presented Love with a game ball. And the reaction of his teammates, it was loud in the room adjacent to the locker room. So it must have been really, really loud in there. And for that team and those players to be that excited about what he had earned with his performance, I think tells you a lot about how strongly they feel about him.
Yeah, Jason, we talked throughout the week about the weaponry, and I made the argument that Christian Watson, in my opinion, is the most indispensable player on the Packers roster just because of what he means to the Packers offense. And I do think it's kind of a 1-1A situation when you look at he and Romeo Doubs. They'll do it a little differently. Watson is more that deep home run threat. With him out, I would not have expected the team could score 38 points. I was really impressed with how a couple of players stepped into their advanced roles. So Jaden Reed comes in, not only does he make a great punt return, but makes a couple of tough catches. Not to put the comparison label on it, but it reminded me of Randall Cobb making an impact in the early going of his career as a rookie, as that slot receiver post-Super Bowl. And I don't know that people are talking enough about what Romeo Doubs gutted through, right? It was very clear that he was on a pitch count, right? There were times he'd look out and there'd be a running play, and Doubs was on the sidelines and probably didn't want to block it all too much. But to have the kind of impact in limited opportunities against a number one corner for an opposing team, I was really impressed with how those two guys specifically in the receiving game sort of jumped out. A little on Musgrave too, but those guys especially.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I do think Doubs is probably, the flashiness and the speed and the size and the athleticism that Christian Watson possesses. I think that's what people get really excited about. I think Doubs is the more complete wide receiver. I think he's got a little more Devontae Adams to him. Not that Devontae Adams couldn't go deep, right? Just like Romeo Doubs can as well, but that's not his signature. Whereas Christian Watson's blazing speed, he's going to take the top off the defense. So I agree with your assessment of Doubs. And in terms of Jaden Reed, he was exactly who we thought he was going to be. Just like my dogs think the people that are walking by right now think they are in charge of the parking lot that we're in. The issue that I have is that I think you'd really like to see their younger players continue to grow. And that's one thing that we've heard a lot from, Matt LaFleur about the last couple of days. Even after the game, that's what he was talking about, was they've got to continue to grow. He said it again today. Well, if that's it, if that's the goal for the season, if that's how they're kind of measuring success, then what a great start. What a great starting point to begin there and then work your way further along that path toward being complete NFL players. Because if you can get off to a good start, then even when you have the growing pains that are soon to follow, you at least have had those successes that you can look back on and say, okay, I still know I can do this. I know I messed up this route, or I ran the wrong depth or the pass got intercepted, but I know I'm good enough. I've proven it, and I'm going to keep proving it. And I really think that those two guys that you talked about, obviously Doubs played last year, but Musgrave, even his kind of fumbling, stumbling, bumbling on the two deep balls that were thrown to him, it still, I think, is a really good starting point for him.
Jason, there's a couple things I'd like to talk to you about, but I'll just start here. And, of course, we're going to talk about Jordan Love, offense, Matt LaFleur, and all that. But just a couple years ago, this special teams group, they were damn near last in the NFL. And now all of a sudden you look at the whole operation, your punter, your holder, and now your kicker, they're all new. We know about Keyshawn Nixon, but if you could just talk a little bit about that transformation, how they've been able to do that, and Anders Carson goes in and make that long field goal right before halftime. Looks like it could have been good from 65, and how all those pieces have worked together for them. Yeah,
look, that takes guts, right? To switch up your kicker, punter, holder. And look, they also have a new long snapper. Now, he's a veteran, which, is not typical on this roster that they have right now. But he's a guy in his fifth year in Matt Orzech. But it's a whole new operation. I thought, as impressive as, and Greg is right, as impressive as Jaden Reed was, I thought the kicking group was pretty darn good. I mean, let's talk about the 52-yard field goal by Carlson. That's a high snap, and Daniel Whalen gets it down. That was one of the questions when they decided to go young and not have a 10th-year veteran in Pat O'Donnell come back and punt for them, was that he was a really accomplished veteran holder. And now Daniel Whalen, he did it in the XFL and he did it at UC Davis, but could he do it in the NFL? Well, a 52-yard field goal was good in part because he got his job done. And then he punted well. He had that one, there's like 5 seconds of hang time, 68 yards. It ended up being a touchback, but you're not expecting guys to uncork 68-yard punts. I mean, that was big time. So, yeah, and Matt LaFleur talked about it today. There is definitely a different kind of mentality or vibe or culture that Rich Bisaccia has created. And after all those years of not being very good, that's really good news.
Jason, I was looking at this yesterday, and if you watched the game, you saw it. You would have just, sort of surmised that Justin Fields was under pressure quite a bit of the day. You go back and look at some of the detailed numbers here. He was the most pressured quarterback in Week 1 of the NFL season. Coincidentally, or conversely, Jordan Love was the least pressured quarterback in Week 1 of the NFL season with one game to play. Is the Packers' defensive line and outside linebacker group that good, or is the Bears' offensive line that bad? Is it somewhere in between? I mean, they were just dominant yesterday in chasing after the quarterback.
Yeah, I think it was both, Greg. I mean, I think the Bears are terrible. Now, I don't say that to devalue what the Packers did yesterday by any means, but I think Matt LaFleur knows it too, and that's why today one of his comments was, it's only one game, it's only 1 week. I think he was trying to manage expectations. He was talking about growing again and the mistakes that are going to come. He's got a narrative that he is making sure he sticks to even when things go well. But yeah, I thought the defensive line, Devontae Wyatt, why was it so hard for him to have an impact last year? He had a little bit of a glimpse at the end of the season, but for a first-round pick, you would have liked to have gotten more out of him. He showed why he was a first-round pick yesterday. I look at a guy like TJ Slayton, who's had some questions about the consistency of his effort. Well, those are probably well-founded given his history, but is he going to rise to a more prominent location in this team's defensive scheme? It certainly looks that way. I thought, I know he's not a defensive lineman per se, but that play that Lucas Van Ness made, the 7-yard sack when they're in the red zone, it's second down, and it goes from 2nd and 3 to 2nd and 10 or whatever it was. That was a big-time play. And I, frankly, wasn't sure how many big-time plays Lucas Van Ness would have as a rookie because he had a very quiet camp. He clearly needs to develop more than just his strength and power in his bull rush. He needs to have more counter moves, and that's going to be a work in progress. But the move he made yesterday was big time and was a big-time play as a result. So, yeah, I do think they took advantage of some weaknesses with the Bears, but that shouldn't cheapen what they did. They just have to use it as a building block toward doing it against better competition. And quite frankly, you look at the NFC, I'm not sure how many more teams there are that are really, really good. I think there's more teams that are closer to the Bears than there are closer to the Eagles or the 49ers or the Cowboys.
One of those teams could be this week's opponent, and that would be the Atlanta Falcons, another road contest for the Packers. Really good stuff. Jason Wilde, 9 to noon. Wilde and Tausch, ESPN Wisconsin. Thanks so much, Jason. I really do appreciate it, as does Gary. We'll check in again soon. Enjoy the rest of your night.
I will probably be in the parking lot of Ballet next Monday as well, so I'll make sure I bring the bark collars with me. All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Sounds good. Jason Wilde joining us here. He'll be a frequent guest throughout the program here. Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. That's the show here. Greg and Gary talking football after you've had a chance to sort of digest the game, you take a step back. We do that 30,000-foot view. I know there's a lot of other programs you can listen to talking football, but we are really going to get into it, X's and O's, and really breaking down the Packers win. And this is all fun stuff, right? You get a 38-20 win, that's all the good stuff to talk about.
Right. You get a chance to sleep on it and wake up the next day and, all right, this really would happen. And so sometimes at this time slot, you take the emotion out of it a little bit, and you be a little bit more realistic to really what you saw.
I like that, too. We'll get ready for Monday Night Football as well. Not everything was perfect yesterday. I do want to go through some of the negatives that I wrote down as we try and remain a balanced show here on ESPN Milwaukee.
I like that.
We'll have much more coming up right after this from Rockin' Brews inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Olson here from my friends at Best Electric Services. They're family owned and operated and have been serving you for over 50 years. No job is too big or too small, whether it's completing a residential or commercial project or even installing electrical vehicle charging. Best Electric provides quality service at fair prices. They are experienced and licensed electrical contractors ready to get to work. Connect with the Best Electric Services. Find out what they can do for you and visit bestelect.com today.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. If you're hosting a football party or heading to Green Bay or Madison for the game and a tailgate, we'll help you with your beverage game plan. We are your football party beverage headquarters. Whether you need an ice cold keg, a bottle of your favorite wine, a unique craft brew, or hard-to-find liquor, we have everything you need, all at the lowest prices in town. Come see us today at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and on Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha. Voted best liquor store again.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
We'll get you all set up with your favorite beverages for your football party and save you a lot of money. Open daily 9 to 9 and Sundays 10 to 2. Family owned and operated since 1960. See all of our weekly specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Q Club of Wisconsin is a hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
That's right, Gary. We've got so much going on here. And of course, you know we're your home for green and gold games every week. Plus, book our VIP area for any of your parties, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. And of course, our fish fry piled high on Wednesdays and Fridays.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out QClubofWisconsin.com.
Kevin Moret here from Mentality Men's Health. Guys, did you know that the stored belly fat reduces your free testosterone? The more the belly grows, the harder it is to drop, mostly because of the decrease in free T. It's a vicious cycle that men are losing, and unfortunately, everyone can see it. Mentality breaks that cycle with semaglutide, an industry-changing weight loss medication that can help you lose up to 15% of your body weight while preserving your testosterone. Join our over 20,000 clients to look and feel the way you deserve. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
It's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta, and I have told you about the delicious pizza and Italian snacks that you can find at Proof Pizza inside St. Kate the Arts Hotel. But now there's even more to be excited about. The restaurant has added new sandwiches to the menu. Available every day from 11 to 4, you can enjoy items like the Red Rock Chicken BLT, the Meatball Hero, and more. Order from the counter at Proof or directly from the bar at St. Kate. Explore the new sandwiches and the rest of the menu at proofpizzamke.com.
Hi, it's John Reitz. At Great Midwest Bank, we live our Simply Giving mission by supporting local causes. Here's Dave Grams, Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin, with a message about the Walk to End Alzheimer's.
For over 40 years, the Alzheimer's Association has been dedicated to Alzheimer's care, support, and research. Our Walk to End Alzheimer's event is the world's largest fundraiser for Alzheimer's efforts. Your participation helps contribute to dementia care, awareness, and progress towards the devastating disease. There are 27 walks across the state of Wisconsin this fall. Join us at Milwaukee's Lakefront on September 17th. It's the 18th largest walk in the nation. Walk for someone in your life living with dementia. Together, we can walk toward a future without Alzheimer's.
Thanks, Dave. Find a walk near you and sign up for the Walk to End Alzheimer's at alz.org/walk. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local, simply giving, equal housing lender.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Obviously, really happy for our team. I thought, we played a complete game, 4 quarters. It was far from perfect, and there's a lot of cleanup.
Packers head coach Matt LaFleur following yesterday's 38-20 win over the Chicago Bears. Not a lot of negatives, Gary. You can nitpick a little bit here and say, I should have blocked a little bit better here. That run went backwards. Bears sniffed that out. All right, that's going to happen in the course of an NFL game. I get that. They get paid too. The one aspect of the game that thankfully the Packers were able to sort of escape from, the clock management toward the end of the first half didn't make a lot of sense to me. So I'll bring you back to what happened. So the Packers take over. They've got the ball at the 45-yard line. There's an incomplete pass on first down. Incomplete pass on second down as Love tries to hit Luke Musgrave in what could have been a touchdown, and he sort of stumbles. Maybe the ball was a little overthrown. Whatever, incomplete pass. So now you got 3rd and 10, and they connect to Jaden Reed on a 29-yard pass play. All right, you're at the 26-yard line in very good position. Jordan Love gets sacked on second down after an incomplete pass. You cannot take that sack, and they lose 8 yards. The Packers had a timeout there. They didn't call one. Time is starting to dwindle down, and all of a sudden Jordan Love is back, and they're going to run a play. Now, I was like, well, what are they trying to do here? So you let time bleed. Keep in mind, the sack of Jordan Love was on second down. Okay, so you knew you had another 3rd down play. If you let time run down and opt for the field goal, that's a 52-yarder. So can you take a timeout, get a little closer on 3rd down, maybe 8 to 10 yards, something, right, to make life a little easier for your kicker, or take a deep shot, right, dial one up. But instead, they let time run off. They looked disorganized getting to the line of scrimmage, and then Matt LaFleur called what I would characterize as a hold on, what the heck are you guys doing? Let's get out of this kind of timeout. That was not a design timeout at that time. It was very strange and clunky, but they're bailed out because Anders Carlson hits a 52-yard field goal. What's going on in the mind of the players at that time? When they have it down to get more yardage, time is dwindling, you've got the timeout. That appeared mismanaged to me.
Well, it was, and they got away from them. And that happens. First game plan, everybody's trying to figure it out. Do you remember the preseason where they just kind of made up a 2-minute process with Jordan Love, and it really wasn't a 2-minute drill in one of those games that they had? They didn't do a lot of 2-minute drill in games that they played. So it's almost learning on a job, so to speak. And Matt LaFleur did speak on that and said they screwed it up. So I think you see some of those things get hashed out as they move forward with the season, that they'll be better at that particular thing. I didn't think it was too bad, the game plan, the calling of plays. I try not to nitpick the calling of plays, because calling plays are really tough to do. And then you need to get into a rhythm. A lot of things can go wrong. So if I'm give my final say on this, I believe it to be that it was a mistake. He admitted, Matt LaFleur, that it was a mistake, and I think that stuff will get cleaned up.
Want to talk about the defense and special teams coming up on the other side. We've got studs, duds, and Gary's game balls to give out, maybe a little fact or fiction.
Sure.
And get you set here for Monday Night Football between the Jets and Bills. Much more coming up on the other side. It is a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday from Rockin' Brews inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino. He's Gary Ellerson. I'm Greg Matzik. We're back after this.
Get your game on at the Island Resort and Casino with first-round picks of your favorite slots and table games. Bring friends and watch your favorite team compete on big screens. Grab game day eats in T. McSee's Sports Bar. Or celebrate your team's victory in Horizon's Steakhouse. To book your game time at the Island Resort and Casino, call 800-682-6040 today.
Take it to the house this season and enjoy tailgating from your own backyard. Tito's wants to make sure you have the best tailgate on the block. You can win game day gear for your next gathering by entering to win at Tito'sTailgate.com. Be sure to enter by November 15th for your chance to win a Solo Stove Grill, a Brewmate back tap for batch cocktails, or a Tito's football jersey. For official rules, visit Tito'sTailgate.com. Must be 21 years old to enter. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
What can you do in about an hour? You could take a nap, do some cleaning, have lunch with a friend, watch your favorite show, take a yoga class, go to the gym, or buy a car. At Ewald Automotive, you'll be in and out in about an hour. Go to ewaldauto.com, select the vehicle you're interested in, and get your instant price. Get a firm trade-in offer, customize your payment option, and even add your own protection plans. Then head to the dealership, and you'll be in and out in about an hour.
Go to ewaldauto.com.
Change the way you do business and take more control of the payment process with Fifth Third Bank's Treasury Management Solutions. Their market expertise and managed services streamline the entire payment process and integrate with your existing systems, giving you more control than ever. With their suite of payment solutions, you will soon recognize new revenue sources that can save time, offset operating costs, and improve the bottom line, all customized for your business. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC. Hey, this is Gabe Neitzel. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
The game is over.
There's Lowe. Taps it a couple times. Going end zone. Caught. Dobbs. Touchdown, Green Bay.
And it's the day after.
Field stands in. Delivered. Intercepted. Quay Walker's got it. Looking for the end zone. Quay Walker is in. Touchdown.
Let's react to the game and look ahead.
Like you said, all offseason, I think our team's been slept on. We can't do anything about it until we go out there and prove it. I think we did that today.
This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews. Here's Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson.
Welcome back in, hour number 2 of Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg Matzik, Gary Ellerson with you until 8 o'clock. About 20 minutes or so away from kickoff here. Monday Night Football, it's Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. On a soggy night, by the way, in East Rutherford, New Jersey, taking on the Buffalo Bills. And this is a game of note. It's a game we're going to pay attention to. In fact, we're going to do this, Gary, throughout the night. Every week, I'm going to update you with how many snaps Aaron Rodgers played in his previous game. And we're going to look at their record. Because if you're a Packers fan, tonight you're a Bills fan for sure. Right. But you're also an Aaron Rodgers stay on the field fan because you want him to play at least 65 snaps. Right. And you want the Jets to not win a game. If you're a Packers fan. Right. That's the stipulation behind getting a first-round draft pick.
Right. It is. And so, and Mark Murphy's been talking about this. He's kind of been joking about it. But you're right. If you are a Packer fan, you need Rodgers to get 65% of the snaps. And I don't know how people feel about whether they want Rodgers to succeed or not or have a great season. But the AFC is going to be tough. I mean, you look at Buffalo, and although Kansas City lost, but I still think that division right now, that conference is tougher than the NFC right now.
I want to take a look at the defensive performance yesterday. So 38-20, the final, 2 touchdowns scored by the Bears. The second one was really kind of a garbage time touchdown. Right. Really the Packers were playing just sort of basic sort of defense at that point. The game was very much out of hand, just sort of a late touchdown. Cosmetically speaking, maybe it makes the Bears fans feel a little bit better. But they were obliterated yesterday, and their offense was terrible. 10-6 at the half, just a couple of field goals allowed. You had a 3rd down stand, 4th down stand, turned the ball over on downs. You had a pick 6 from Quay Walker. Devontae Wyatt had 1.5 sacks. It felt like everybody on that D-line had at least a pressure of Justin Fields. And that's with Rashawn Gary playing just a small handful of snaps. I was very encouraged by a defensive performance against a team that does not have a very good offensive line. Let's keep that in check. But again, it's still better than the alternative, right? The Packers' youth showed up, and it seemed like at each level they were productive. I'm trying to think of a more complete defensive performance in recent memory, especially with this kind of group. And, Gary, overall, that was dominant in the trenches, and that's kind of where it all starts. That's where that edge really seemed to show up yesterday.
It really did. I thought the defense, it had a lot of peaks and valleys. It had a lot of ups and downs to it. They really weren't as consistent. I think this defense got an opportunity to be a really special defense this year. I think it has an opportunity to be top 5. I think they have the talent to do that, and they're finding their way. You got Jair Alexander. He can guard anybody in the NFL. Just put him out there, let him go get him. And I think maybe they're finally learning that that's the case with Jair. Savage, I thought, played probably his best game as a Green Bay Packer yesterday. But still, there were a lot of dumb penalties that they got defensively that shouldn't be. And I know they want to be brash and all that and talk a lot of stuff. I get that. But still, don't let that get in the way of being one of the better defenses in the league. I mean, Rashawn Gary is on a pitch count, but he was still effective. We talked about Lucas Van Ness. Absolutely. Jason's right.
So boil that play down. Boil that play down, because that's Justin Fields out of the pocket, and he didn't bite on the fake.
No. That was a special play. I mean, that to close the gap on Justin Fields like that was unbelievable. I mean, that you don't see every day. Now, although it was the short side of the field, wasn't the wide side, but Lucas Van Ness still had to go through his progressions, meaning that closing the end down, so he actually stepped down, outside arm free, and were able to then get outside to make that tackle was absolutely incredible. First-round pick. You talked about Quay Walker, first-round pick. Jair Alexander, first-round pick. I mean,
Devontae Wyatt, first-round pick.
First-round pick.
Right?
Preston Smith showed up and played a lot, too. I mean, veteran in there. This defense has an opportunity to be really good. They've got a great right now. It's just the first game. But it appears the defensive line rotation has got a chance to be really, really good this year. I like what all these guys can do. They've got some big bodies in there, but they also have some guys that can get out the passer. I think that's going to serve them well as this year goes along. I feel like they've got a lot of depth there on their defensive line.
The Bears had a 1st and goal at the 8-yard line, right? They were marching down the field. It was part of a 12-play drive. They end up scoring points, but 1st and goal at the 8, and they get a 4-yard pass play, right? So now it's 2nd and goal at the 4-yard line. They run a play fake, the Bears do. Justin Fields ends up rolling back to his right. Lucas Van Ness doesn't bite on the play fake and is basically right in front of Justin Fields. Now, who's going to win to the corner? You'd think the quarterback, right?
Yes.
Who rushed for over 1,000 yards last year.
Yeah.
Van Ness is able to take an angle and wrestle him to the ground. Gary, that's a 6-yard loss.
Well, he did.
Right?
He did everything that you're coached to do. And once again, make the plays you're supposed to make. Make the layups. That was a layup for him. A lot of times.
For him. Not for a lot of people on defense, right?
Well, because a lot of times, this is what I'm saying, this is what it seems like these guys, a lot of times you getting caught up into other actions that gets you out of position. Everything that you were supposed to do from a technical standpoint on that play, Lucas Van Ness did. Meaning that he took his right leg, stepped down, closed that D-gap off, C-gap off, and were able to get outside to that D-gap. I mean, it's what you coached up to be. Now, on top of that, you do have to have some athletic ability to get out there and make that tackle on Justin Fields, and that's why he went in the first round. Those are the plays he made at Iowa. Now, he's a stand-up linebacker, which he wasn't at Iowa, but you still can see what he was able. He reminds me a lot of Rashawn Gary when he first came to Green Bay. Power rusher, not much else, but very athletic. Well, you know he can build on what he has.
So let me underscore the importance of that play by Lucas Van Ness. It's 2nd and goal at the 4-yard line. He wrestles Fields to the ground. Now it's 3rd and goal from the 11, okay? The playbook is no longer wide open.
Correct.
Right? The playbook has been condensed. Now if you want a shot at the end zone and scoring a touchdown, you're going to have to pass that football. Right? Or maybe it's a scramble, but it's not a designed run. If you're 3rd and goal at the 4, that playbook's wide open, right?
Yes.
You can do anything.
Yeah.
In fact, I thought running might have been a good opportunity there for the Bears. So 3rd and goal from the 11. Rasul Douglas has a pass breakup. And there you go, 29-yard field goal, and the Packers maintain their lead at 7-6. If they score a touchdown there, I don't know that the end result changes in the game, but you know as well as I do, football is a momentum sort of game,
Sure.
and there are swings in a game, and who knows what could happen. But that one play just shrunk the Bears' playbook. It limited them to a field goal, and it was a great assist to the defense when it looked like the Bears were in ripe position to score a touchdown.
No, it really did. I think you're right.
Up.
It did. And I think, and once again, you're talking about from an offensive standpoint, that put Joe Barry in a positive standpoint too, and that now his playbook expands a little bit. Now he can play towards you knowing what you're going to have to do, so now he can dial his defense up.
Want to dive into what happened on special teams yesterday, too. I don't recall a more complete effort on special teams in recent memory, especially given the cast. Once again, you have to keep in mind there were 13 rookies who saw meaningful action in yesterday's game, plenty of second-year players as well. And that's usually where special teamers live in the Packers world, and they have to by necessity because they make up a good chunk of the roster. So we'll get into that as well. Gary's studs and duds, game balls from yesterday's game, all that and more to hand out here on a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Come hang out with us. We're at Rock and Brews inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino, and Monday Night Football is about to begin. We'll have much more after this on ESPN Milwaukee.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rock and Brews.
There's only one place in Milwaukee where every day of the year, dreams and reality get together for a great time, where you can walk in a player and walk out a winner. That place, Potawatomi Casino Hotel. With fantastic dining, gaming, sports betting, a luxurious hotel, and endless ways to win, the excitement never stops. The only thing missing is you. Your win is waiting. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Visit our website to learn more. Must be 21 to enter casino.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor.
Tailgating is back, Wisconsin. Have you ever wondered how tailgating started? One theory is that it started during the first college football game in 1869, as spectators spent their pregame ritual grilling sausages at, of all places, the tail end of a horse. Another is that tailgating started in 1919 during the first Green Bay football season. Fans backed up their pickups to the field, folded down their tailgates for seating, and served food and beverages. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. Since 1960, we've been the place to stock up for all your tailgate rituals. With over 2,000 varieties of beer, 3,500 types of liquor, and over 8,000 wines, Discount Liquor is your one-stop tailgate shop. Discount Liquor in Milwaukee on 51st and Oklahoma, and in downtown Waukesha on Main and Barstow. See all of our weekly specials at DiscountLiquorInc.com.
Discount Liquor.
Look at all this space I have on my desk. Finally, no more clutter.
I know, right? Plus, now I can actually see everyone and talk to them whenever I want.
Would you stop trying to ask people if there are more doors or wheels in the world?
Speaking of wheels, these chairs, woo!
I've never been more comfortable at work.
Coakley Brothers and Brothers Interiors, the official moving and furniture provider of GKB Milwaukee.
Are you looking for the perfect restaurant for your next night out? Then make Aria, the acclaimed restaurant inside St. Kate, your next dinner destination. Specializing in artisanal American cuisine, Aria features carefully prepared seasonal entrees along with a robust selection of craft cocktails, wine, and local beer. Join them on Sundays for the restaurant's famous trademark chicken, served family style with sides like mashed potatoes, goat cheese biscuits, and more. Make your plans today to dine at Aria. Learn more and make reservations at aria@stkate.com. That's aria@stkate.com.
Big players show up in big games. Donald Driver and Cousins subs are no different. With the football season upon us, Double D and Cousins are teaming up to offer 80-cent delivery now through Sunday, September 24th on any order of $20 or more. Simply order your favorite subs and sides online or on Cousins mobile app, and we'll deliver them to you. And don't forget, we now offer Apple and Google Pay. Cousins subs. We believe in better.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. That's right, folks. Great Lakes Dragway's 2023 race season is in full swing. Come out to see our annual events like Memorial Day Weekend, Labor Day Weekend, Nitrous Streetcar Brawl, Import Wars, Larry's Fun Fest, and Bug Fest. Looking for something new and exciting? Come see the Night of Fire Jet Show. Want the track all to yourself? Email or call about a private track rental. Go to GreatLakesDragaway.com for contact information and our full season schedule. Great Lakes Dragaway, just a burnout west of I-94 on County KR. Be there.
Wisconsin is as hard-working of a place as you'll ever find. There's a sense of pride, community, and work ethic that's second to none. People here are tough, but even the toughest among us need help after a serious accident. At Gruber Law Offices, we won't stop fighting for you and your family. We've been here and will continue to be here for as long as you need us. Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Definitely could feel it. Just being in the locker room with the guys, they're awesome, man. I was actually given a game ball today, and those guys were going crazy in there. So it's an awesome feeling for me. But, I mean, we got a great team. I love those guys. It feels great to have everybody behind you for sure.
Yeah, emphasis on the word team there. That's Jordan Love talking about the reaction inside the locker room following yesterday's 38-20 win for the Packers. Jordan Love receiving a game ball. Now, it's one thing to get a game ball from Matt LaFleur, Gary. It's another thing to get the very coveted Gary Ellerson game ball, which we'll do here weekly on the program. There were studs yesterday.
Yeah.
There were some duds yesterday.
Yeah.
There are game balls to be given out. We'll go through all of that.
Sure.
Who's a stud yesterday for you on offense? Offense, defense, and so on. Your offensive stud.
You know, it's not talked about much, but the offensive line played well. But my stud, David Bakhtiari, didn't practice at all. Not much doing training camp. On the pitch count. Okay, we want to save him for the game. I thought came in with the limited amount of practice time that he had and really led that offensive line. He's a veteran leader, really, right now on that team. And I thought came in and played a really, really good, solid game for them and played all the snaps. A couple times he was laying on the ground and like, David, get up, please get up. Because right now they don't have anybody to replace him. So if you're talking about someone irreplaceable on that offense to me right now, is David Bakhtiari. That offensive line was one of the main reasons why Jordan Love had all the time that he had to throw the football.
Yeah, there was just two pressures on Jordan Love all day, and had 30-plus dropbacks. I mean, that's a pretty good total.
It's a fair amount.
Especially on the road, right,
Yes.
where you know it's going to be a little louder and maybe a little more challenging to get your snap count dialed in and maybe just a tick delay for your offensive lineman to get moving. I like it. David Bakhtiari.
Yes.
He is going to soon have the nickname the Big Lamborghini, which is a nickname they had for Chad Clifton back in the day.
Because he never practiced.
You bring him out of the garage on Sunday.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
Put it back in the garage after
Yes.
Sunday and
Yeah.
leave it quiet for the rest of the week.
You're right.
But he's earned it,
Yes.
and they know there's a pitch count with a guy like David Bakhtiari.
Right.
And if you can get him to play 15 out of 17 games, I think the Packers will look at that as a luxury.
Yeah.
Who is your dud? Do you have a dud on offense? I have one if you don't. Do you have a dud?
I do, and I'm staying with the offensive line. Josh Myers got to play better. He just does. Got blown up a couple times, guys in the backfield. He's got to get better. And I don't know if his center of gravity is not there or whatever, but he get blown up way too much by defensive linemen. He's got to play better. You got one?
I guess I look at the overall run totals, and it's a 2.9 yards per carry with the rushing offense. Now, if you look at the running backs, it's a little different. Aaron Jones, 4.6 a carry. He's a difference maker. Patrick Taylor had a few carries in that fourth quarter, 4.4 a carry, kind of in garbage time, but nonetheless. But A.J. Dillon, 13 carries for 19 yards is a little head-scratching to me. And I'd have to go back and look at all the runs to see if there was really just nothing there to work with. Or if AJ just had an opportunity for something bigger and you didn't seize that opportunity or not quick enough to the hole. You'd know better than anybody, Gary. You played running back at that level, but 13 carries for 19 yards, 1.5 yards per carry average. I'm sure collectively AJ and the offensive line look at that and say, that's not good enough.
Great guy, right?
For sure.
Yeah, Mr. Up North guy, whatever they call that way up north up there.
He's got the key to Door County.
There it is, Door County. He's got to play better, too. He's got to be more explosive. I think that's what is missing in his game. And also it appears that sometimes one guy can tackle him. He's Quadzilla, for crying out loud. How does one guy tackle Quadzilla? So he's got to get behind his pads. He's got to have a lower center of gravity than what he really has. And he has to become a little bit more explosive. Now, he knows the game. He knows where to be. You can count on him in the blocking situation. He's all good there. But you expect a little bit more out of him in that run game. I mean, he was that and everything coming out of Boston College. So you hope that you see that this was just that game, that he'll get better as the year goes on.
It was very clear yesterday. Aaron Jones was the most dynamic playmaker on the Packers offense, and there's a pretty good gap, I think, between he and A.J. Dillon. Let's go defense. Do you have a stud on defense?
There's a lot of studs on defense. But my biggest stud on that defense yesterday, Greg Massick, got to give it to Jair Alexander. Is it DJ Moore? Is that his name?
Bears traded. Bears give up some draft capital to get that guy as a true number one receiver.
Jair, go get him. That's your guy. Now, I hope they continue to play this like that the rest of the year, and that loosens everything else up for that defense if Jair can go shut down that Justin Jefferson, that DJ Moore type of receiver for every team. Give me Jair Alexander.
I'm going to throw Devontae Wyatt's name into that mix as well. Here's why. Six pressures.
Yeah.
6 pressures.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about the number one picks and how they fare? Well, the number one picks from last year, Devontae Wyatt and Quay Walker, both had a pretty significant impact. Devontae Wyatt had 6 pressures against Justin Fields yesterday as an interior lineman. I'll throw another stat at you, though. Rashawn Gary had 5, and he played 10 snaps.
No, right?
Right? I mean, he's not on there to stop the run.
No.
Right? He's not in the game to stop the run. So that's just, this is your mission. Just go get it. You don't even need to play the run. It ain't happening.
Right.
But nonetheless, it gives you a clue where he might be at physically. That's a good thing. Any duds on defense? Anybody just fall a little bit short to you?
You know, I really didn't have a dud on defense. I thought they all played well. I mean, they're all kind of up and down, a little bit inconsistent. There are some plays that some of those guys would like to have back. Keyshawn Nixon got caught up on a touchdown where they should have switched and they didn't switch. To me, that's really about communication, how they want to play that. So I think they get better with that. But I think overall, as a group unit, that whole defense played well. You got one?
I might add Rudy Ford's name to that list. I'm going to be watching safety like a hawk all season long.
You should be.
Because to me it feels like a position that can go one of two ways. Is Darnell Savage going to rebound and become that number one pick that he was, that first-round draft pick?
Right.
Or last year when he got benched in favor of Rudy Ford, like is that more the Darnell Savage? Now, I did no issue with Darnell Savage yesterday. He appeared to play a fine game.
About 10 tackles
talked about it,
yeah.
and he seemed to be involved in a lot. But Rudy Ford seemed to be lacking. He just really had no impact on the game. There wasn't a lot of deep throws. I get that, but something I'll be watching. I don't think safety is, if you look at all the defensive positions, is a position of strength. It would probably be toward the back end of how I would rank position groups.
I would
with
agree.
The Packers.
I would agree. And I think you'll see throughout the season a revolving door there, so to speak. I think it'll be about matchups. I think it'll be about how guys are absolutely playing. I don't think there's a clear-cut guy right now at that either one of those safeties positions. I think you're going to see about 4 guys rotate through there.
Time for game balls. That's another level above studs.
Yeah,
and duds,
yeah.
Right? That's a little different.
Yes.
Let's hand out game balls. Give me an offensive game ball.
I'm going to give my offensive game ball to Matt LaFleur. I think came up with a sensational game plan. If I had to give another one, of course, it would be Jordan Love. But let me just give it to the architect, the guy that drew it up, the guy that says, you know what, Jordan Love, I got you. This is how we're going to do it. This is how you stay within the framework of what we want you to do. Make all the layups. Make the simple plays. You don't have to make the hard play. Go through your progression, go through your reads, and this is what you're going to get. Matt LaFleur gets my game ball.
I like it. Hat tip to Jordan Love as well. He executed the game plan orchestrated by Matt LaFleur, I thought, pretty well overall. They had some dry spots on offense, nonetheless, but when it came down to it, third down and fourth down, that was a position of strength for the Packers. Remember last year they were 50% in the red zone converting touchdowns?
Yes.
3 for 3 yesterday. Mm-hmm. They had only one opening drive touchdown all season last year. They do it on their first opportunity of this season, right? I mean, there were some signs of that offense really showing, without Christian Watson, its ability to still click behind a really strong offensive line. On defense, defensive game ball. Who does it get?
Man, I really think there's a collection of players that I think you can get at too. But I got to go with my guy from Georgia. I'm from Georgia. First round pick, defensive lineman, Devontae Wyatt. I think at the end of the day, last year, you didn't see him that much. He just wasn't ready. But we saw him in training camp this year. Had a really good training camp, and really in this game here just kind of exploded on the scene. That's what we saw out of him at the University of Georgia the last year he was there. He's a player.
8 players had at least 2 pressures on Justin Fields yesterday.
Yeah.
8 different players. So collectively, I'm going to go to the defensive line with Devontae Wyatt, Kenny Clark, Colby Wooden, another rookie, 4th-round pick, Carl Brooks, very talented, a little bit of off-the-field trouble in college. That's why he wasn't drafted. Mm-hmm. It wasn't about talent at all. He's draftable talent. But you look at just those guys. Brooks had 3. Wooden had 4. Kenny Clark had 4. Devontae Wyatt had 6. Pressures from the interior of the Packers' defensive line. They get my collective game ball.
When they let Dean Lowry go, I said to myself, they better know what they're doing. Because Dean Lowry is a pretty good football player. They got better by letting him go. Now some of these young guys who drafted, Devontae Wyatt, now they can get more reps that they would have gotten.
Keep in mind, the Bears were the number 1 team in the league last year at rushing the football.
Yeah.
The Atlanta Falcons were also a top 5 team. Green Bay will see Atlanta on the road next week. We'll see what kind of adjustments they're forced to make as Atlanta tries to throw a counterpunch back after watching the Packers play. I do want to get some special teams nuggets out of the way coming up on the other side. We'll do a little fact or fiction. Still want to get you ready for week 2 of the NFL season and a little NFC North Division roundup. All that and more on the last half hour of the program. It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday from Rockin' Brews at Potawatomi Hotel Casino.
Back with more on the green and gold after this on Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
What advice would you give somebody that you know that's window shopping?
I'd have to say Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin plays at an MVP level in the replacement game. They came in ahead of time, measured all the windows, make sure they had all of the measurements. When the Pella people left, you had no idea they had been here. You just had the new window. They're great professionals, Gina, and some of the best in the world at what they do.
Right now, pay as low as $19 a month per window or $75 per month on patio doors. Visit PellaWI.com today. Pella's team of expert installers start with an in-home consultation and finish with no hassle or mess, leaving nothing but perfect results that stand the test of time. Right now at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, pay as low as $19 per window and $75 per month on patio doors. Visit PellaWI.com today.
$6.99 APR for 120 months. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Offers end 9/30/2023.
Q Club of Wisconsin is a hangout spot for watching sports, playing games, and having some drinks. Mike, what do you have going on over there?
That's right, Gary. We've got so much going on here. And of course, you know we're your home for green and gold games every week. Plus, book our VIP area for any of your parties, which includes a private pool table, 2 shuffleboard tables, and 4 dartboards. And of course, our fish fry piled high on Wednesdays and Fridays.
All happening at the Q Club of Wisconsin, North Grandview Boulevard in Waukesha. Check out QClubofWisconsin.com.
Hey, it's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Brust. Men can be their own worst critics, especially as we get older and compare our current self to the younger version. The experts at Forward Healthy Lifestyles in Germantown help men with testosterone optimization, regenerative medicines, heart health screenings, weight loss, and yes, sexual enhancement services. Forward Healthy Lifestyles can offer regained energy and endurance, more muscle and tone, enhanced performance, joint therapies, and more. Change your life and stop comparing who you are now to who you used to be. Visit forwardhealthylifestyles.com for a free consultation.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain cold refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Hi, it's John Reitz. At Great Midwest Bank, we live our Simply Giving mission by supporting local causes. Here's Dave Grams, Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Association Wisconsin, with a message about the Walk to End Alzheimer's.
For over 40 years, the Alzheimer's Association has been dedicated to Alzheimer's care, support, and research. Our Walk to End Alzheimer's event is the world's largest fundraiser for Alzheimer's efforts. Your participation helps contribute to dementia care, awareness, and progress towards the devastating disease. There are 27 walks across the state of Wisconsin this fall. Join us at Milwaukee's Lakefront on September 17th. It's the 18th largest walk in the nation. Walk for someone in your life living with dementia. Together, we can walk toward a future without Alzheimer's.
Thanks, Dave. Find a walk near you and sign up for the Walk to End Alzheimer's at alz.org/walk. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local, simply giving, equal housing lender.
Kevin Murat here from Mentality Men's Health. We hear stories every day in our clinics that what used to work for guys doesn't anymore. Increase cardio, cut out certain food, nothing stops the changes in their bodies, especially the weight. The fact is, years of decreasing testosterone has packed on the belly fat that won't go away. We've introduced a medication, semaglutide, that helps drop 15% of the body weight on average while preserving testosterone. Join the over 20,000 Mentality clients and jumpstart your results. In Milwaukee, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
You're listening to Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
So there are two things currently trending on Twitter here, Ellerson. Welcome back to the program. It is a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday. Greg Matzik and Gary Ellerson with you from Rockin' Brews in Potawatomi Hotel Casino. So this is not good. There are two things currently trending on Twitter. Rodgers, and right underneath that, ankle, and right underneath that, Zach Wilson. On the second play from scrimmage in the Bills-Jets game, Aaron Rodgers did his best to evade a sack and a rusher. He sort of spun out to his left. He was unable to get away, so the Bills defender ripped him to the ground. I would not say the fall looked terribly awkward to me. There was no obvious injury. Doesn't mean there wasn't an injury. There was just no obvious injury, or you'd look and say, ooh, his knee twisted up real weird. I didn't see that. But Aaron Rodgers stood up after the play, and before the next play from scrimmage, while standing there looking to the sidelines, he just sat on the ground and rolled onto his back. And moments later, he was carted to the Jets locker room, where he is undergoing further testing. So this is the second play of the game for scrimmage for the Jets offense. So it's a home game for New York, right? Rodgers carries the American flag out of the tunnel. Very memorable situation, right? Flashbulbs flying everywhere. And 10 minutes later, he is on a cart going to the locker room after an apparent injury trying to evade a sack. Play number 2 of the Aaron Rodgers era in Green Bay. Who knows the severity yet? Tests being done. But that's the situation developing in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
I don't want to be the bad guy here. I don't want to sound mean. Does drama ever stop following this guy?
Right?
Just drama all the time. Nothing's never easy with this dude. Doesn't it just seem par for the course that this would happen? That all we need for this dude is to play 65%. I don't even care if the Jets get to the Super Bowl. I don't even care. Just play 65%. On the biggest stage, the NFL got both New York teams separated on the biggest stage there could be for the NFL. Go do your thing, Roger. Roger, go. If he would have threw for 5 touchdowns, I would have been happy. Don't care. But why all the drama? It just doesn't stop.
I'm watching this on replay, and I'm trying to see.
I hope I'm not bad here. I don't know. If I'm off, but just tell me, am I wrong here?
No, that's his life. It's all drama.
I'm just so sick of it.
It's all drama.
We aren't even playing for us anymore, and I'm sick of it.
It's all drama. But this is what I got to come back and tell you about, though, right?
Come on.
Because it does affect the Green Bay Packers in some way, shape, or form.
Please.
As we know, if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps, doesn't matter the Jets' record, 65% of the snaps, and the Packers get a first-round draft pick. If not, it gets knocked down a level. However, if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play and the Jets have an awful season, that might be pick number 32 or 33 in the draft instead of pick number 27. That could be something like that. Who knows? I'm getting way ahead of the game here. But the storyline here of Monday Night Football is that Aaron Rodgers has gone down with an injury, and Zach Wilson will be coming into the game when the Bills take over on offense. When the Jets take over on offense. Looks like the Bills just connected on a field goal. So dude can't even last one drive. He can't even last one drive. We'll see.
They give him the flag. I mean, they set the stage and let him run out with the flag. Mind you, was that Chris Gizzy?
Yeah, not quite the same emotional tie as Chris Gizzy.
Yeah,
yes, the Packers did that 22
if
years
you
ago.
are Jets fans, probably the same emotional ties because he is the only guy that they've had that could throw for 4,000 yards since Joe Willie Namath. All the hype. I'm leaving Green Bay. I'm going to New York, the big city. I saw him and Aaron Andrews with New York in the backdrop, and he's doing the interview, and it was all dark and clear, blah, blah, blah. This guy, can you just stop?
No, he can't stop. So you're thinking in the back of your mind.
Can we call Jason Wilde up
this
again?
Is all premeditated?
Huh?
You're not going there, though,
Stop.
are you?
Stop. Don't
this
get
is
me.
Not premeditated.
Don't push me.
This was not by design.
Don't push me, Greg.
This was not by
Don't push me, Greg.
I'm not going that far. I'm not saying any of this was by design.
Don't push me, Greg.
But Zach Wilson is entering the game here for the New York Jets on offense. They trail the Bills 3-0. So Aaron Rodgers lasted, 2 plays? 2 plays in his Jets debut in front of a sold-out stadium. They've been waiting all week for Monday night, right? They've been waiting all off-season for Monday night against the Bills, the season opener against a high-quality football team, and Aaron Rodgers lasts 2 plays.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. They will be the Jets fans. If this is what it is, they will finally see what we have seen, or what we were seeing in him. And yet there's a lot of circus, there's a lot of stuff that goes with him, that comes with him, that you have to deal with. He did win a Super Bowl for us. We were hoping that we could get back to a couple more. But I think all that is him stops him from being, I don't want to say great because he is great, greater, I don't even know if that's the word, but from reaching his potential. How about that? I think all the other ancillary stuff that surrounds him stops him from being what we truly think that he could be. Is that crazy? And I'd be the first one to say, you can call me out if you want to. Yeah, I had a so-so career, blah, blah, blah. But I had no talent that this young man here had.
You wouldn't have put up with that garbage in the 80s when you played.
Not me. Our whole team would have ran him out of the doggone.
Even that level of talent?
Yeah. Them dudes don't. We weren't. We weren't doing that.
People wouldn't have been scared about giving it to Aaron Rodgers.
No. The guys in the locker room, they wouldn't have.
Right?
No.
They wouldn't. And
no.
Look, he successfully played his way out of Green Bay.
Well, how about this? Forrest Gregg, Vince Lombardi disciple, he ain't having that. No way, no how.
So that has become the story of the day here now in the NFL.
A new game, right? New game, new day.
Well,
right?
it's a new season now for the New York Jets. Which means, if you're a Packers fan, again, if you don't see Aaron Rodgers on the field 65% of the snaps this year, the first-round draft pick is out the door, out the window. Honestly, if the Packers keep on going on and doing what their thing is, and whatever, who cares? Let that draft pick end up where it is.
They have to. Because the players in the locker room, I don't know if they much care. Front office probably cares more about the first-round pick than the guys in the locker room.
I'll tell you who might care more about this. The folks at Charter Spectrum who finally agreed to a deal with ESPN and getting it back on the air in time for Monday Night Football.
You knew that was going to happen.
This was the deadline of all deadlines.
Yes.
And now they got Zach Wilson on the field throwing passes for the New York Jets. That is not what anybody anticipated.
Well, no, it's still a story. Bad news can be good news. This is a story for tonight. Everybody's watching this tonight. They got a lot of play. They're getting a lot of play out of this because now everybody is turning their TV on because they hear it to watch this game, to watch Zach Wilson, to see what they could or can't be. Or hearing all the other ancillary stuff about, now we got to hear news about Rodgers. Now we got to have the Rodgers update. This is almost like the tractor watch, but not the tractor watch. Because now we got to find out how serious the injury really is. And when will he be back?
Peyton Manning does the Manning cast every week with his brother on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
It's kind of entertaining.
It is.
He said, if Aaron Rodgers is out, I got nothing on Zach Wilson. Watched Aaron tape all week long. I have got nothing. Yeah, exactly. Everybody preparing for one outcome and one quarterback to play tonight for the Jets. And it was not Zach Wilson, spoiler alert. But he is on the field, and the Jets are driving for those keeping score at home. Hey, they got Dalvin Cook still, right? They got Dalvin Cook in New York. We'll keep you updated on this, and certainly any updates regarding Aaron Rodgers we will share with you before we get out of here tonight. We've got about 15 minutes left in the program. We will look ahead to Week 2 against the Falcons, the Packers' next opponent. It'll be on the road in Atlanta. And some interesting nuggets on special teams. That was a performance yesterday that I did not see coming. I'll explain why after this. We'll wrap up Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday right after this on ESPN Milwaukee.
More football talk coming up next. This is Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews.
Hey, this is Gary Ellison for my good friends at the Jewelry Center. It's the only place I go when I'm looking to get some new jewelry. Dean and his team are always friendly and know just what I'm searching for when I stop by. I may not always know what type of jewelry I want, but the professionals there sure do. Plus, if I need repairs on watches or other jewelry, the Jewelry Center does that too. Find the Jewelry Center in Burlington, Brookfield, and Greenfield, or shop their entire collection online, including their popular Lightbox lab-grown diamonds at shoptjc.com.
Ready to ride?
Just let me get my flip-flops on.
Whoa, Mom and Dad are going for a ride without their protective gear.
Quick, grab the checklist. I'll grab the gear.
Just where do you two think you're going without your safety gear?
Yeah, you know how we feel about riding without your gear.
Well, it's so nice out.
And we're only going for a short ride.
Not before you put all this gear on, you're not.
But,
riding pants?
Okay. Check.
Motorcycle boots?
Bye-bye, flip-flops.
Check.
Armored jackets?
Nice. Check.
Riding gloves?
2 pairs.
Check.
Last but not least, full face helmets.
Check.
Now you're ready to ride.
And you look cool.
All the gear, all the time. Zero in Wisconsin. Together, we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov.
Be home on time for dinner.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Buckle up. It's all systems go at Potawatomi. Plug in to high wattage play and you could win an all-electric BMW i7. Play now through September with your club card. Prize drawings on Thursdays. There's a shocking $800,000 in total prizes on the line, including the luxury BMW i7. It's time to electrify your drive. Only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel. More info at paysbig.com/BMW. Must be 21 years old and a club member to play.
Gabe, where do you think our group should be taking our golf trip next year?
Jason, I don't know. Do you have time to figure it all out and get all the reservations made? I certainly don't.
Not really. I mean, I'm so busy. If I only knew somebody to call that might do all the work for us.
Oh, I know about Wisconsin Golf Trips. Their main business is booking groups from around the world to play all the great courses in our state, but they're now doing outbound trips for groups each year to places like Michigan, Minnesota, and Nevada. Plus, Wisconsin Golf Trips is even booking custom packages for Scotland and Ireland.
Oh, wow. Let's hit them up.
WisconsinGolfTrips.com. Here in Wisconsin, a good old-fashioned is an important way of life. And that's where my friends at Perky's Old Fashioned come in. Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel here to tell you about the easiest way to put together an old-fashioned. Perky's offers both brandy and bourbon old-fashioned mixes. And get this, the booze is already in there. Just add the soda of your choosing, and you'll have Grandma Perky's old-fashioned in the palm of your hand. Perky's is locally made and great for get-togethers of all kinds. Get perked up and head to perkysspirits.com for your nearest Perky's location.
It's Chevy truck season, and with a Chevy Silverado, there's no such thing as an uphill battle. With a Chevy Silverado, you can take on the mountains, or you can move them. Because with impressive towing capability, an available 13.4-inch diagonal touchscreen, and the choice of powerful engines to pick from, whatever your mountain, there's a Silverado with the capability you need. Visit WisconsinDriveChevy.com.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. That's right, folks. Great Lakes Dragway's 2023 race season is in full swing. Come out to see our annual events like Memorial Day Weekend, Labor Day Weekend, Nitrous Streetcar Brawl, Import Wars, Larry's Fun Fest, and Bug Fest. Looking for something new and exciting? Come see the Night of Fire Jet Show. Want the track all to yourself? Email or call about a private track rental. Go to GreatLakesDragaway.com for contact information and our full season schedule. Great Lakes Dragaway, just a burnout west of I-94 on County KR. Be there.
We're back with Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, live from Rockin' Brews on 94.5 ESPN.
Headline story from yesterday's action in the NFL is the Packers' 38-20 win over the Chicago Bears. Headline story tonight, Monday Night Football, is that on the second snap in his career as a New York Jet, Aaron Rodgers folded the ground trying to escape a sack. And it's being described on Twitter now as an ankle injury. Some are saying best case is that it's an ankle sprain, in which case he'd miss several weeks. Some suggest it could be Lisfranc or it could be broken, which would likely be season-ending for Aaron Rodgers. Regardless of that, it's an ankle injury. He was carted off the field. And he's not going to play again tonight, though he's listed as questionable, according to the New York Jets.
I love you. He's not going to play for the rest of the night. I love you.
This is karma at its finest. Because for those keeping score at home, Aaron Rodgers played his way out of Green Bay last year. It was not an erosion of skills. He got the biggest payday of any quarterback in NFL history.
Yeah, they opened a bank.
$150 million, right? The biggest contract ever was awarded to him, and he totally took a crap on the offseason. Didn't do anything in the offseason. Didn't show up. Didn't connect with his young wide receivers. And I think played his game way out of Green Bay intentionally last year because he did not want to be back. His heart wasn't in it. He can still sling the rock. You think Aaron Rodgers was going to have another season where he didn't throw for 300 yards passing in a single game? Do you think he was going to have another season where he was complete dog crap at the end of the year with an opportunity to go to the playoffs? He played his way out of Green Bay because he was sick of it, but I think the Packers were more sick of him. And they knew it. Here's $150 million, Aaron. Great. Could you please show up for some workouts in the offseason? No, I'm good. Peace out. Thanks for the cash. We'll see you all later. I'll go sit in my corner and pout like the little crybaby he is and always has been. So now the diva goes to New York, and on the second play, karma bites him right in the ass, and he's on a cart going to the locker room. Bravo, Aaron Rodgers. Karma wins again. You played your way out. Now you just played your way out of a season.
Yeah, bravo. Good job, Greg.
That's Aaron Rodgers in a nutshell.
It is.
He's a jerk. He played his way out of Green Bay.
All day
and
long.
This is what happens to jerks in the NFL.
All day long.
It couldn't happen to a bigger one.
No, you're right. And then goes there and tries to give it to the Packers, and really all the guys in the locker room we played with, by showing up to all the off-season workouts, went to every one of them, was there for all those guys. But these guys in Green Bay, he didn't want to show up for. And those were all young guys, too. I mean, you look at what Jordan Love did with these second-year players now, which they were rookies under him, which he chose not to get to know. There was something to be had there for him had he elected to do it. And you're right. He took the money, went to the darkness retreat. You believe what you want to believe, but he had no contact with the front office. And he forced Brian Gutekunst into a corner. at some point, Brian had to be a man and go, you know what? We're done. We'll work it out. We'll get you to go somewhere. And everything that you said was true. Then he goes into New York, and if you watched him on Hard Knocks, and where he said to the point of, make sure you talk to everyone on the team and not the same person twice and sit at different tables. I don't even know if he followed that direction in Green Bay. Unbelievable.
That's my view of it. That's your view of it. I think if you're a Packers fan and right now you're sweating a draft pick that Aaron's not, no, you're looking at it the wrong way.
Yeah.
You should be energized by this if you're a Packers fan. Well, because your team is 1-0 and they obliterated a division rival. That's after back-to-back years of opening the season, getting your ass kicked with Aaron Rodgers and a more veteran team. So this young team, hungry for each other, 13 rookies, goes and destroys their Week 1 opponent on the road with a little chip on their shoulder, their collective shoulder, not an individual shoulder, collective shoulder. They've heard all the noise, and they go out and earn an emphatic 38-20 win. You should be more energized about your team than you are bothered about Aaron Rodgers and the 65% thing. The collection of things that have happened here in the last 24 hours should be absolutely levitating to a Packers.
But although, Greg, I think Aaron Rodgers did split Packer Nation. Because you got Aaron Rodgers fans that chose Aaron Rodgers to the end-all, be-all. And, of course, you've got people that honors the G, like you and I, and guys that are actually team players. So there is a fraction of Packer Nation who are very sad that this has happened, just so you know.
If you're looking at it from the standpoint of a draft pick, it may not be as high for the Packers.
Well, yes, second round, so fine.
If they achieve their goal and become a playoff team, I don't think you'll be as sweating that much about a potential second-round draft pick. Because I'll tell you this much. If the Jets have to go through a full season with Zach Wilson as their starting quarterback in that division, good luck being a playoff team, number one. The Dolphins and Bills are going to be ahead of you in the standings.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not going to be easy to be a wild card team. Mm-hmm. And maybe that pick is a little higher in the second round versus toward the back end of the first round, which is where it could have been with a healthy Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. There's a silver lining.
There may not be that big a difference
there's a silver lining
between
there.
First and second round pick in terms of
Well, when you get
numbers.
to the top of the second round, right, and the end of the first round, you're absolutely right. You see a lot of teams at the bottom of the first round trade out and go and get into the second round because those players in that 15, that bottom range there, they're all about the same depending on position.
2 minutes left in the program. Let's look ahead to the Packers' Week 2 opponent. Another road contest. It's the Atlanta Falcons, Gary. The Bears and Falcons were two of the best teams at running the football last year. Tyler Algier is a 1,000-yard rusher in his second year. And then they drafted a running back, Bijan Robinson, with the number 8 overall pick. And they were both heavily used in earning a win yesterday. Those are the real standout weapons to me. It's the run game that kind of makes the Falcons work.
Right. If you look at the Packers' defense last year, the Achilles heels in the Packers' defense last year was their run defense. They wasn't very good. So they're going to get a dose of Bijan Robinson. They're going to run the football, play action pass off of that, and try to get that tight end across the middle. So you're going to see at least 40 carries out of these two running backs.
40 carries is a high
That's
total.
a lot
and they'll
in the
use them in the
NFL.
passing game, too.
Yes.
They will use them both in the passing game.
Yeah.
So work to be done here for the Packers. They throw the first punch of the season with an incredible win over the Chicago Bears. Very dominant win, really, in all three phases. Special teams clicked. The rookie kicker, the rookie punter, the rookie returner in Jaden Reed, all outstanding for the Packers yesterday. Keyshawn Nixon, I think it's a matter of time before he breaks one.
Absolutely.
He is certainly a guy to be worried about. Show number 1 is in the books, my
Love
friend.
it. Great.
It's a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday with Gary Ellerson and Greg Madsen.
Love
We'll
it.
do it all season, man.
Let's do it again next Monday.
We will do it all season. Next Monday, we will be here once
Thank
again.
you, everybody, for coming.
Hope you can join us here at Rock and Brews
Appreciate it.
inside Potawatomi Hotel Casino. And some applause for the fans.
Yeah.
For Gary, he'll give hugs and sign autographs after the show. That's right. Thanks to Chris Larson for producing the program. Thank you for being a part of our program. Hope you can join us each and every week. For Gary Ellerson, I'm Greg Matzek saying thank you for listening on ESPN Milwaukee.
Hey ESPN Milwaukee fans, Gary Ellison here from my friends at Best Electric Services. They're family owned and operated and have been serving you for over 50 years. No